Well, such a beautiful spring day here that I almost don't want to do my job. Almost don't want to record today, but we've got to get these updates out there. Some big stuff. So we're going to talk about possible gold supercycle. Gold having its best quarter since 1986, according to CNBC. So the yellow metal's best quarter in nearly 40 years. What's going on, folks? Why are investors rushing toward gold? We'll get into that. But first, I just have to mention the latest in the DOGE corruption findings that Elon Musk and his team are coming out with. This is incredible stuff. So this is a tweet from David Sachs, who's a White House advisor. He says, quote, "It's not just the fact that 2.1 million Social Security numbers were issued to non-citizens in fiscal year 2024. It's the trend line. The number was doubling every year." Think about that, folks. The number of fraudulent, made-up Social Security numbers that were being issued to non-citizens, which goes against the whole point of Social Security, because Social Security is the safety net for when you retire, if you're a U.S. citizen. It's not designed for foreigners to take from us. It's one of the core safety nets available to U.S. citizens. And this thing was being bled dry. And we would have never known if not for Trump's election. His election and choosing Elon Musk to do this generational reform of the national government. We would not even know about this stuff. So again, David Sachs, White House advisor, says 2.1 million Social Security numbers were issued to non-citizens last year. And that number was going up year over year. That's not just a fat finger mistake. It's not like someone in an office made a mistake. They were handing out Social Security payments to millions of people who didn't deserve them, who were not qualified by way of not being citizens. So this is nightmarish fraud. And for Elon Musk to say that they're going to kill him if he keeps revealing this stuff, maybe we shouldn't live in a world that corrupt. I hate to sound naive or Pollyanna-ish, but maybe we shouldn't live in a world where we pay our taxes and then someone turns around and makes up Social Security numbers for migrants. That seems like worse than theft, worse than being held up at gunpoint because you don't even know. Here you're living your life, you're paying into the system. Maybe you do really well, maybe you don't. But either way, you don't even know that in DC there's a class of people, these little Podesta Soros types, who are literally making up Social Security numbers, assigning them to immigrants who don't get Social Security. That's not our system. We don't give money to random people who haven't paid into our own system here. That's fraud. That's theft at a level that's mind-blowing. Millions. It's not like, oh, an extra 1,000 were found and it was some kind of mistake, some kind of clerical error. No, this is deliberate, raiding of the Treasury. And it does skew the demographics. All these right-wingers are right. When you have millions of people who aren't citizens and they're getting Social Security payments, who do you think they're going to vote for when you place these people in blue states? Who do you think they're going to vote for? This is worse than Tammany Hall times 100. This is the craziest shit ever. And I don't see it on the news. I see very few other YouTubers even talking about it, which to me is completely bizarre. Again, they're outing generational corruption. Like this sort of revealing, this sort of opening the hood of the federal government. It happens not even once a generation. There was the Church Committee in the 70s. But that was just focused on spy agencies. That wasn't focused on the running of the entire government. And now you see the Social Security system is rotten to its core. To be giving millions of people payments who are not entitled to them in this digital age where you and I get audited if we receive more than $900 in Venmo tips and don't promptly report it. We get an audit, but here you got money going out the door at a scale that's mind-blowing. And people like Elon Musk are saying they had to do this or the government was going to run out of money. So it wasn't an optional thing. It's like you got to cut off the funding at some point. And it makes sense to start with the fraud. It makes sense to start with the millions of people getting Social Security who shouldn't be getting a fucking cent because they're not citizens. They should be paying that money back into the Treasury, self-deporting, and thanking their lucky stars that they're not put in prison for the fraud they've committed. So, yeah, but I want to talk about markets for a second. Something happening with gold that's very interesting. Uh, to see the prices go up this high when they're promoting Bitcoin so much, it shows me, anyways, the world is not fully buying the Bitcoin narrative. And I say that as a person who loves Bitcoin, of course. It's like, it feels like Bitcoin is waiting for its next leg up in terms of usability. And this Michael Saylor, this clown buying billions of dollars of Bitcoin every week and then tweeting about it. I know that's not the end stage for crypto, because if it is, crypto's over. If crypto is just something for companies and banks to put in their treasury, then it's over. What makes it any different from gold? It's just a less usable gold at that point. Gold that doesn't shine. What's the difference? Like, I'm blown away that on the internet, when Bitcoin is like the 8th or 9th largest asset in the world, that more websites aren't begging you for Bitcoin, right? You go on Amazon or you go on Target's website or Walmart. Where's the QR code checkout process? Why don't these huge merchants want your Bitcoin yet? They would take your gold if there was a way to do it that was sensible. There's really no functional way to send gold to a merchant without, solid risk of theft in the middle. But they would take your gold. Whereas with Bitcoin, it's like it's made for the internet. Why are big merchants not taking Bitcoin in this age of a 1 trillion market cap? I don't fully understand it. I would be scared, actually, not financial advice. I would be scared if all my eggs were in the Bitcoin basket, because I don't fully understand it anymore. Again, a $1.65 trillion market cap asset. And for some reason, none of the big retailers want it. You'd think it would be so easy to add a QR code or to integrate payments with, Coinbase or BitPay or something. So what's holding them back at this point? What is holding them back? Why does it seem like Michael Saylor is the only big corporate buying Bitcoin every week? And again, if that's the aspiration for Bitcoin, is just to be bought up by people like Michael Saylor and Larry Fink at BlackRock, is that what we waited all these years for? Is that the revolution we waited for? Is just to make billionaires in Virginia like Michael Saylor even wealthier? I don't know. Was that the original vision of Bitcoin? I must have missed that part of the white paper. Yeah, gold again soars to a record 3,100, eyeing its best quarter since 1986, according to CNBC. Right now, gold standing at $3,149 per ounce. $3,149 per ounce as I record this. And I remember not long ago, they acted like $2,000 was the ceiling. Remember their articles like, can gold hit 2,000? Well, that ship has sailed long ago. We've been above 2,000 since late 2023. According to the chart here, it looks like late 2023 onward, we've been above 2K. And again, now $3,149 an ounce. So that shows me the whole world is not buying the Bitcoin narrative. This happy ending where Michael Saylor just shepherds everybody into Bitcoin and everybody's saved from the loss of value of the dollar. It seems like BRICS isn't actually going away, even though Trump said he doesn't like it. It seems like BRICS is still moving forward, and it seems like lots of countries at the central bank level anyways are hoarding gold. Not Bitcoin, but gold. And I think it's the ultimate hubris, ultimate misguided arrogance to think that you can tell the market what to do. Like, even Michael Saylor is kind of pushing the limit here, kind of an Icarus, Icarus flying toward the sun situation. Those wings are getting a little melty. It's like, who does this guy think he is that he's going to tell the entire market Bitcoin is better than gold? And his company is going to hype it and they're going to hoard it. Where's the build out of usability? Why isn't Michael Saylor spending money on, again, getting merchants like Amazon to put a Bitcoin payment flow at checkout? Why shouldn't it be Visa, MasterCard, Amex, and Bitcoin accepted when it's that big an asset? Why is that not a thing? Why are we all using PayPal in 2025 instead of big YouTubers asking for tips right to their Bitcoin wallets. I don't fully understand it. But again, I follow the market. I don't try to tell the market what to do. And Mr. Market is saying it likes gold. It's turned into a Bond villain, right? Gold, Mr. Bond, gold. It's weird. The market has caught an appetite for gold and to a lesser extent, silver. Silver, which has not seen much action in years, is doing quite well lately. Let's see. 34.12. Yeah, and just like gold, I remember we were $30 an ounce, some weird hypothetical. And these finance bloggers would be like, could silver ever hit 30 an ounce? And now we're above 34. So it shows me loss of faith in the dollar. That could be part of it. But again, what doesn't make sense is, why isn't Bitcoin at 200,000? Why isn't Bitcoin at 500,000? With all the positive talk from the White House and from the Trump brothers, Eric and Don Jr., both talking up Bitcoin, as well as Michael Saylor buying so much. Why is this not moving the needle? The price of Bit went down after his most recent buy. And you got the CEO of BlackRock talking about how Bitcoin could move gold aside. Not at the moment. That's not what the charts are saying, you know. So yeah, Strategy, which is Michael Saylor's company, they rebranded from MicroStrategy to just Strategy. 3 hours ago, they tweeted out, Strategy has acquired 22,048 Bitcoin for $1.92 billion at approximately $86,969 per Bitcoin, and has achieved a Bitcoin yield of 11% year-to-date 2025. Who cares? Is this, again, the revolution that we fought? Does this make money more usable? Some Virginia billionaires holding company just announcing when they buy literally billions of dollars of Bitcoin. What does that do for the rest of the world? So I said in response to that tweet, I said, this is getting goofy. If Bitcoin is just another treasury asset for companies and banks with no usability over gold, are guys like Peter Schiff morally correct? Obviously, Bitcoin has performed better than gold. Where's the push for usability and payments in everyday life? That's what I want to know. Is how come like plumbing companies and construction companies, why don't they have a little sticker on the side of their vans that say Bitcoin accepted? It seems like this is a revolution that's happening with people like Michael Saylor and Larry Fink. But are they astroturfing this revolution? Are people not actually using Bitcoin? Is that the issue? And again, I don't say these things as a Bitcoin hater. I say that as somebody who wants to see it succeed. And I feel like we're backing ourselves into a dead end, you know, a cul-de-sac with no way out. This is a dead end here. How much more coins can Michael Saylor buy? And to what purpose? To what end? Why keep buying coins if nobody's using it as a payment network? Why call it the future of gold when it seems like the future of gold is gold? You know, the future gold is gold. It's not Bitcoin, at least not so far. Again, given all this hyping from the White House, I don't see why we're not above $200,000 or something ridiculous. And for the price to dip by thousands of dollars after MicroStrategy announces this latest buy of nearly $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, and the price goes down. What kind of market is that? I thought we were told the coins are so rare and we know exactly how many will ever exist. It seems like whenever something good happens, there's an illogical dump out that brings the price lower than where it was before. Whereas gold is actually functioning like some kind of hedge asset. This run up in gold is what you would expect when a new US administration does a total 180 from the prior administration's policies. You would expect some hedging, right? Because people don't know what's going to happen with tariffs in a couple days when Trump makes his big announcement. They don't know what's going to happen with that. They don't know what's going to happen with the interest rates. And they don't know what's going to happen with the truce with Russia, if that's going to coalesce or not. So you got all these kind of juggling balls up in the air. And that traditionally sends people into hedges, things like gold and silver. And here you see gold is performing exactly as it should. In a time of uncertainty, gold is doing exactly what it should do, in my opinion. But again, the big question is, why isn't Bitcoin shooting up? Why is Bitcoin actually dipping whenever things like the strategy buy happen? It doesn't make any sense to me. I guess I'm not smart enough to figure it out. Is it a rigged market? Are there just early years coins that are always coming onto the market at this point? I don't fully understand it. But yeah, of things I don't understand, right up there is, why isn't there national outrage over the fact that our Social Security was being raided? So 2 million numbers generated just last year. 2.1 million Social Security numbers were issued to non-citizens. Keep saying that to yourself until you grasp the enormity of this. I mean, 2.1 million Social Security numbers were issued to non-citizens in fiscal year 2024. Oh, okay. Well, whoever issued those Social Security numbers should be rotting in a prison cell for the rest of their life, because that's fraud, and it's politically motivated fraud. You know, it's like when I watch these late night comedy shows, the rare moments where I actually watch TV at night. It's just not funny. You see a guy like Jimmy Kimmel, and every single talking point is trying to score political points. Every single thing is some nurtured, scripted, fucking talking point. Just leftoid talking points. It's not even funny. And I mentioned Kimmel because he's like the best of the late night crew. The other Jimmy Fallon, like completely unforgettable person, a completely forgettable person. Just not a funny or unique thinker. And so these guys, like, where's the comedy about just adult life, about relationships and being stuck in traffic and aging or whatever, like just the daily issues of life, what comedy used to be. Instead, every single thing is this fucking political drone with a target, right? Oh, another joke about damaging Elon Musk's company, but not really, but wink, wink, really. Like, that's not funny to people. It's just fucking political agitprop. And going against all of Trump's immigration stuff. Like, really, that's the funniest thing you can think of, and not like bodily issues, indigestion, infidelity, the tax man. There's so many things that you can make fun jokes about. And you're just doing this political theater every night. It's fucking disgusting. This partisan political theater. It's not taking the election loss well, that's for sure. Because late night theater is not meant to be weaponized. Late night comedy. It's not supposed to be weaponized. Every single joke like it was crafted by some goon at the DNC. Just tell jokes again. And what they pay these guys, what they pay Jimmy Kimmel, the network, ABC, he makes like 100 times more than the best comedian in his category would make. Like, if a Jimmy Kimmel toured all year to sold out shows everywhere, that person would make like 1/100th of what they pay Jimmy Kimmel to just read off a teleprompter a bunch of political talking points, a bunch of weaponization of comedy. They pay the guy 100 times more. That's called being owned. Imagine if some man in a suit and tie one day came to me and was like, imagine your best year where you make, so much from YouTube, and everybody sends you a tip, and everybody subscribes to your newsletter, and your stocks do phenomenally well. Your brokerage account does really well. Imagine this ideal year revenue-wise. I'm going to pay you 100 times that. I'm going to pay you 150 times that. 100 times your best year. But you can keep being a YouTuber. You can keep being you. Just every now and then you're going to read some comedy points from us. It's like, clearly, if somebody's paying you 100 fucking times more than you're worth in the open market in terms of what your content is worth, something's going on. Some strings are being attached. And to pay a late night comedian like what a Fortune 500 executive would make, somebody actually making real decisions about where to source microchips and metal and stuff for a company like Microsoft or Apple. A real thinker, a real doer, right? To pay Jimmy Kimmel what that person makes, if not a little bit more, shows you that there's strings attached. Because again, I would ask, what's the catch? If somebody is willing to pay me literally 100 times more to do what I do today, I'd be asking, what's the catch, folks? So yeah, it's just all fake. I think people are tired of this rigged show. We're tired of the late night talking points. We're tired of finding that our money is just going out the door to migrants, Social Security fraud. I mean, where's the prison time, obviously, but also just where's the outrage? Why isn't the media covering this? Not from a place of Elon has your personal records. Stop stealing, Elon. Stop stealing. Instead of that retarded shit, like where's the mass outrage that we're being robbed from? Robbed from at a scale that sounds absolutely schizophrenic, but it's the reality. 2.1 million social security numbers just last year, according to White House advisor David Sachs. So this David Sachs and these other guys, they're doing a generational reform, a cleaning of the house that needs to occur. Beautiful spring day here on the East Coast. This is the time for spring cleaning. And these late night show hosts who are so outraged by it, it couldn't be that you're being paid 100 times more than what you should be paid to just run political shit every night. It's not that, is it?
You're listening to Fulcrum News, real news from America and around the world. FulcrumNews.com/subscribe to get our premium membership and updates via email.